I wanted to talk about this. The Game has apparently lost his house as a result of his sexual assault case. I'm going to actually read through some of the details of this, but for those who don't know, I mean, I guess I'll just read through it. The Game has officially lost his Calabasas home. And I already know that when I asked Wack about this, if I remember, that Wack's going to basically do a whole song and dance where he says it's not true and this is all part of a 500 IQ master plan to basically, get around having to pay out the judgment. But according to All Hip Hop, a judge has ordered its sale to help cover a 7.1 million judgment owed to Priscilla Rainey. Rainey sued the Los Angeles rapper in 2015 with an allegation of sexual assault. It stemmed from the filming of a VH1 reality show called She's Got Game. Despite Game's denial of the allegations, he failed to show up to court for trial, and thus Rainey was awarded a default judgment. So yeah, I don't know who advised the Game, telling him that he didn't have to show up for court, because realistically, if he had taken this to court, he could have probably settled for, I don't know, like $100,000, a couple $100,000, something like that.
Something.
Yeah, or definitely not. I think that the judgment against him, yeah, it's gigantic. Like Rainey has been trying to get Game to give up the home for quite some time. Back in 2024, she calculated the house should be worth $3.2 million. In another filing obtained by All Hip Hop, her attorney, Janelle M. Deese, wrote that there is no current homeowners exception or disabled veterans exemption for the dwelling. She continued, record title to the dwelling is held in the names of Cash M. Jones, a.k.a. Wack 100, a married man, as his sole and separate property, subject to final judgment and permanent injunction obtained by the judgment creditor, deeming the title to be held by JTT Holdings as an alter ego of judgment debtor. I am informed, and I believe that the dwelling is not a homestead. We go down a little bit more. Is that basically it? Well, she said that after initially filing her lawsuit, the Game vehemently denied the allegations in a statement on Instagram saying, "Don't be fooled by these accusations or the dollar amount in the headlines, because I put that on my favorite auntie's poodle. This broad ain't getting," he wrote in 2016. "Every girl on the show will tell you I never touched this chick or ever desired to be anywhere near her. She got kicked off the show, and as a result, she filed this lame lawsuit, which was probably her intentions before the show was even started. Following the default judgment, Game attempted to get a new trial, but was unsuccessful. As for the $7 million, $1 million was in compensatory damages, and another $6 million was in punitive damages." Now, honestly, there's been times where I got sued where I kind of thought maybe I just don't isn't that a thing? You just don't respond to it. You get a judgment, you just don't pay it. It would appear that this is what happens, that they try to take your home from you, which should be obvious. Now, if you get sued and it's by people and you don't have any money, it probably is in your favor to just ignore it or, hope that you don't get money in the first place. Because that this is basically the exact same thing that happened to T-Rail, is that he got sued by the guy who basically created all these images for Last Kings, and he just didn't show up, didn't do anything to deal with it. And he got a default judgment of, I think, $2-3 million. And that's why T-Rail filed bankruptcy and basically can't own anything under his name. And that's also why he hasn't got married to his girl that he's been engaged with for 13 years. So the whole tactic of just ignoring the judgment, I don't think it's really that wise. I think it's probably better to face these things head on, because it's just going to follow you for forever until the bankruptcy goes away or whatever.
So the little theory that Game was hiding everything in Wack names, I guess true.
I guess there's some truth to it. Yeah, it seems like it.
Smart.
Jeez.
Shit, how smart. You got cracked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where it goes from here. Are they just not going to be able to take the house because Game is saying that he doesn't want them to or whatever? I mean, Game's got to make a pretty solid amount of money, I would think.
Primarily from touring revenue
got
at
that
this
brought out
point,
the
or
way, man.
merchandise, or licensing.
Touring, old money coming in from his classic hit records over the years and everything. I mean, sure, $7 million is a fuckload for anybody. But, I mean, it just seems like, if he really was being sued, and that's what's crazy about this too, is that it's from a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
If you do a reality show as somebody like Game, I would assume that you're thinking that you could make maybe $1 million off of this, something like that, something that's worth your time to do it, but it's not exactly making you, filthy rich. Now, it would appear that if the end result of this reality show is that you basically have your home taken away from you and you get a $7 million default judgment. I mean, clearly this was not worth doing the reality show,
You said a
right?
female name. So this a female attorney, right? 'Cause I was listening up for Tony Busby. It ain't that Buster, right?
No, it ain't a Busby case for sure.
Man.
Yeah. So what do y'all think? You think that Game up? What should he do?
Shit, last year I had we had covered some that was looking into whack finances because they felt he was hiding all this shit for him, and you know what I'm saying. So I guess they concluded it and came up with this. Now they on that house, but I think he should have paid her in increments, man. Get her out the way.
I mean, you could fight it in court because even like the lawyer, yeah, that might cost you a lot of money. It might cost you a couple $100,000, but that's way better than getting your house taken from you and having, a $7 million default judgment. But the default judgment is from you just like not going to court, which I feel like once you get a default judgment, you can oftentimes get it overturned, right? Which I thought that was
Not
the plan.
necessarily.
Yeah, but it feels like, because I think Game tried to say that he didn't get the paperwork in the mail, so he didn't know he was supposed to go to court. Sounds a little unlikely, but
I mean, in order to normally with the civil cases, it has to be like signed for. It's a certified mail. It's not just so that's like a poor excuse that will easily get debunked.
Damn.
Sound like you've been sued before.
I've been involved in some lawsuits.
I think
Not fun.
No,
I think when you don't show up, you're disrespecting the court. And that makes the judge kind of want to stick it to you. Pause.
No, yeah.
Game was just being an egomaniac, basically. Talking trash. She ain't getting this. She ain't getting that. You basically turned the court system against you.
Well, if you don't show up and then you wind up getting defaulted, I mean, that's how I've seen people lose their ass, especially in these type of cases.
Yeah.
They're always going to give the highest amount. That's how come when Alki David got sued, they was talking about $58 million and they was talking about $30 million and he was getting defaulted damn near every time because he don't with the judicial system or whatever, but they smacked him and it's actually a lot more difficult than people would think to get that overturned. But the thing is, what it was also difficult is the collection process. So unless you have just straight up assets like a home and things like that, good luck finding that.
As long as America remains as litigated as it is, everyone just needs to have a contingency to get the hell out of America with a stash of cash in the event something like this happens. But he was arrogant. He went publicly and basically talked trash about the lady. We live in a very weird society with that type of, where things are weaponized based on your perspective. He should have just took his ass to court.
Because he's saying that he didn't even touch the girl at all. And from what I remember, they're saying a sexual assault. Not 100% willing to get fingered in that moment or whatever. But we all see sexual assault. It sounds really bad. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it probably would have been a much better idea long-term for him to sort of face this head on. You are a big star. You have assets. You got this big-ass house, etc. Why try to duck away from that? I feel like you got to face these problems head on.